Hey, this is Leanne Kingwell, and you're listening to Torrent This with Dando.
It's the Torrent This podcast. I am Dando, and today my guest is a woman who recently released her album Choking on Halos. It contains the new single Slingshot. She is, of course, Leanne Kingwell. Leanne, thanks for your time. How you doing?
Great, thank you. How are you going?
I am always good. I'm actually super stoked because my wife just sent me a message on Facebook saying that she got us tickets to the Pixies in Sydney in May. Awesome.
Excellent. That's great.
I know.
I love the Pixies.
I know, right? But they're not only playing shows in Sydney, which is kind of disappointing.
I saw them in Melbourne when they were here last at Festival Hall, and had balcony seats, and it was brilliant. They were so good.
How good was the fact that I remember going to that gig as well, and like by the time you're leaving, you could buy it on CD already.
Oh my God. They are organised, those guys.
I know, right? Would you call yourself an organised person?
Yeah, no, I think I've got a pretty good left brain and a pretty good right brain, and so I make a mess of things and then I tidy it up. So I get by.
You seem like a really fun person to be around, just from what I've seen.
Well, thank you. I mean, you've probably seen my Facebook, and I noticed that I'm a sort of a closet comedian, so I'm much funnier on the internet than real life. So I kind of leave that there and put all my feelings into music and all my laughs on the internet. So.
Plus, you go skinny dipping, and that's always a plus for anyone involved.
So you've seen the video?
I have.
Yeah, that was so much fun that day. I got a whole year's worth of exercise done in one day, so I don't have to feel guilty about not going to the gym for a whole year, basically.
Yeah.
And the bit you're talking about where I lose my dress, it's very decent, as you know, from the camera's side, because I've got my back to the camera. But there was actually 5 guys playing water polo out to sea, and they were just out of frame, and they copped an eyeful of the front, so they had a good day.
Yeah, I've seen the interview where I think it was Molly where you said how the 5 guys saw you. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how lucky were those 5 gentlemen?
Well, my boots aren't that big, so I'll say they're 8.5.
Oh. But you've been running around all day, so you looked super fit, so it doesn't matter.
They're turkey too.
Yeah. Was it worth giving those guys an eyeful just for the sake of that one quick shot in the clip?
I actually grew up in swimming pools, so I'm not really shy about stuff like that. Actually, the photo shoot that I did for the album, I ended up in a koi pond at midnight, topless swimming with goldfishes, and we got some great shots from that too. So, that's as far as I take it, the top. But it's, I don't, everyone's got nipples, I say.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, if I hang around with you long enough, I will see your boobs.
Well, come to every gig, and we'll see. No promises, but yeah.
Now you've been given the salute from Molly, which I saw, which is something like any Aussie musician wants. How did you first get in touch with Molly? I have to say, first of all, that was such a trip because I'm a Countdown generation kid, so that was an absolute spin out, his reaction to the album. And it came through Gavin Wood, funnily enough. I sort of floated over to America a couple of years ago, and I met Gavin Wood through a friend of a friend that I hadn't even met through Facebook, actually. She saw I was in LA and she said, "You need to come meet my friend Gavin Wood." Cool. Which I thought, great, I'm a Countdown kid, why not? And the next day he took me to meet this amazing producer who's the guy that I ended up making the album Choking with Halos with. David.
His name's David Holman,
yep.
Yeah. And so the funny thing is when the first night I met Gavin, I said to him, "So, if I make some amazing music or whatever, would you ever pass it on to Molly?" And he said really emphatically, "No, I wouldn't do that to the friendship." And I thought, you can't blame a girl for asking. Of course, I took 2 years to make the album, and the album blew his mind when he heard it. And the first thing he said when I'd finished the album and I was on my way back to Australia is he goes, "Here's Molly's phone number. He's expecting your call when you get back." So
holy shit.
Yeah, and so I had to go around there. It was still like a blind date. I had to go around to his house with the CD in hand, and I'm thinking the last thing Molly Meldrum wants is another. I'm not going to swear. I nearly did.
No, you can swear. It's perfectly fine. It's a podcast.
The last thing Molly Meldrum wants is another effing record to listen to. And so I knocked on his door, a little blind date, and he actually listened to about 8 tracks while I was there and then apologised because he got a phone call and had to go and do something else. So he said, "Leave it with me. I'll keep listening to it and give me a call on the weekend." And by the time I caught him on the weekend, he had completely flipped his noodle for it. When his assistant let me in, she said, "Come in, he's been listening to your record non-stop since you left." So that was amazing.
He's like on my bucket list. Like my top 3 people I want to interview is Paul McCartney, Dave Grohl, and Molly Meldrum.
Wow. Well, that's totally doable.
I hope so.
Awesome, actually.
I'm just
actually, yeah. If John Lennon Lennon was one of them, I'd be saying, well, you're going to need a good medium. But
Well, I have John Lennon's signature tattooed on my forearm. He would be the ultimate, but he's gone.
yeah. I still say there's a way you can do that with a good psychic.
Oh, well, are you psychic? Do you know any good psychics that can help me in that situation?
I actually know someone who swears that John Lennon's ghost visited him and they went out and had dinner together. And this guy is a very high up CBS executive in America.
Wait a minute. Okay, I want more details on this situation. Come on.
I feel like I'm stealing his story because it's a great story.
What did John Lennon's ghost eat? That's the question I want to know.
Well, here's the interesting thing. All these kooky things happened before this guy appeared at his door. His computer broke. This person started calling him, and then the person on the other end of the phone, who turns out to be John Lennon, knew that his computer was broken. It wouldn't print, and he said, "You're going to have to come and meet me." And he's like, "I don't even know who you are." And then the clock. He had a grandfather clock. The grandfather clock stopped in his apartment. And he goes, and then he looked at the clock and the phone call, the person on the other end of the line said, "Oh, I see you noticed I gave us more time." And at which point he agreed, and this is in the days before mobile phones, he agreed to come out. The door knocked straight away, and it was a physical knock. And then the guy who looked like John Lennon's ghost, all dressed in, there's a photo of John Lennon all dressed in black.
Yeah.
And anyway, he looked like that. So there was physical knocks, but he didn't eat. They got a cab, they went out and had dinner. My friend ate. The waiter saw him talking and talked to this ghost, but the ghost didn't eat. And then when they finished dinner, they just talked about music and life and stuff. When they'd finished dinner, they got in a cab, and by the side of the highway, John said to him, "Pull the cab over, I'm going to get out here." They pulled the cab over. He got out, the cab kept driving, and my friend looked over his shoulder, and there was nothing there.
Who is this friend?
I don't think I can say his name because he's a very sane person, and I don't think I should say it. But he's a VP, a vice president of a big department at CBS.
Holy shit! I'm going to research this. I'm going to do my investigating.
If you stay on my Facebook long enough, you'll see him probably.
I just want John Lennon's ghost phone number. That's all I want.
There you go. Yeah. Well, he made the calls. John called him, so I don't think he's got the number. I'm so sorry.
If it was on private, yeah. Oh well. Well, Molly's also apparently showed your music to like Michael Gudinski and people like that. You can't buy that kind of publicity.
That was amazing, actually. Yeah. It was just incredible. I was just totally spun out. So yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I know you're right. Well, you wrote all the tracks with your mate John Kay apparently here in Melbourne. You went over to record it in the US with David Holman, as you said. Would you recommend the big trip over there to other musicians wanting to record?
Absolutely, and I don't want to sound unpatriotic because I've recorded in Australia forever, and I love Australia, but they just, with the recording, I stayed patriotic by writing with my best friend in Oz, but the recording process over there, I don't know what it is. If it's just their history. I know what it is with the album that we made. The producer that I have has an amazing history, and it spans everything analog through to digital, and he's just got an amazing mind that crosses from emotions to science in the blink of an eye sort of seamlessly. But we also had the luxury of being set up in his own studio for months on end with no time limit and no limit on the amount of ideas you could have. And so the depth and the layers that you can go into and explore and leave no stone unturned is just amazing. And I've never been in that situation in Australia with someone that experienced. So in Australia, it's always been a case of running in with however much money I've got that I can afford to hire the studio for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and getting the best people that you can. But it's just yes, I would recommend going over there. It was just an amazing experience, and the results I'm so pleased with. So yeah.
And how often do you get to work with the guy who mixed "We Are the World" for the Live Aid soundtrack?
Isn't that a trip? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, you don't. That's in one day he's worked with everyone who's the biggest and the best in the American music industry in just one day, let alone over the whole span of his career as well. But yeah, that's such a trip. And
not only that, you have ultimate bragging rights because the same equipment apparently that was used on The Wall by Pink Floyd was used on your album. That's insane.
Yes, there was some equalizers. There was a song that we were kind of adding some stuff to in the studio, and I decided I wanted to put a little school kid chant on it. And it was at that moment that I said that he mentioned that he had the equalizers that were pulled out of the desk that Pink Floyd's The Wall was mixed on. So I was like, oh my God, are they plugged in? He said, not at the moment, but give me a minute. And he plugged them in, and he found some school kids, like these little American school kids. They're so cute. You can hear their American accent, which I find so precious. And yeah, that was amazing. But actually, here's a fact that you might not know. A little known fact is David Holman, because he's got such an engineer's mind, he makes these, instead of just the usual pop shield that they usually put in front of a microphone when you sing, which is just a piece of stocking stretched over a circle, and it stops you spitting all over the microphone and making your P's go really big. He designed one that looks like a little. It's got. What does it look like? It looks like a pistachio nutshell sort of shape, half a pistachio nutshell, and it actually disperses the sound in a quite slightly different way. And so he's MacGyvered quite a few of them over the years. And it always seems to be in sessions with massive musicians where he's gone, hang on, I need a stocking. Cher, can you give me your stocking?
Cher?
Or Olivia Newton-John, can you give me your stocking? And so he's got a couple of these really strange custom pop shields. And so that's always the choice. Apart from choosing the microphone on any given day, you're like, well, do I want to sing into Olivia's stocking or Cher's stocking today?
The man sounds like a genius.
He's pretty much a genius. So I hope he's not listening. He's going to be so full of himself.
Well,
and that's the thing. He actually is very humble for all his amazing achievements. It could be quite intimidating walking into that studio. I have to admit, when I first walked in there, I was like, God, am I good enough to be here? But he made me feel so comfortable from day one. And, that's part of how he gets these great performances out of people, I think, too. But, Jesus, the things he's done in his life, it's amazing.
Have you ever come across people in the industry who you thought, you're a wanker, you are nowhere near as good as what you think you are?
I probably have, because I've been doing this for a while, but I'm such an optimist. I don't tend to keep lists of the bad things or the bad people. I put these blinkers on and just walk past them and look for the next good one. So, I'm sure I have, but I just don't have any names popping up to bag out at the moment.
So if you walk straight past me, I'll know why.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I haven't known you long, but I like you already.
Oh, thank you. Well, the first song apparently on the album, This High, was literally created in a dream. That's what you've said. Is that a sign that you're super talented or super crazy?
Or super lucky.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of both. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm talented, but crazy and lucky, absolutely. I was actually, that was my last night in New York, the first time I went to New York, and it's such an energy kick. I mean, going to America is such an energy, like putting all your energy in a blender and getting all mixed up in a good way. But New York is, times that times a million. And on my last night in New York, I had this crazy dream that had an amazing soundtrack, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and my first thought was, geez, that dream had a great soundtrack. And my second thought was, holy crap, that song doesn't exist. Quick, grab your dictaphone. And I sang it into my phone. I'm so glad I did, because there's no way you would remember it the next morning. If you think you will, you're absolutely kidding yourself.
Yeah. You're one of those wankers I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know what? I wish it could always happen that way. I wish I could just go to sleep and go, all right, I need a new song, dream, take care of that overnight. But it always happens a different way. So that one happened that way, and other ones I absolutely agonize over, and I feel like I've had to take a knife and commit harikiri to get it out, and it's never ever, because I'm completely untrained. It's always a different process. I'm trained at being methodically crazy and finding all the pieces and fitting them together in the puzzle, I think, but I don't have a minute of music training.
Really?
I've never had a singing lesson in my life, although I do say David Bowie taught me to sing.
Just by listening to him, yeah.
He doesn't know it, but
yeah. Well, another strange song concept was when your cat jumped on your chest after watching TV and you said he smelled like sunshine. Can you describe the smell of sunshine to me?
He's a little black cat, and it was nighttime, because the line that song is, you smell like sunshine even at nighttime. So he absorbed all the heat, I think, and it was nighttime, and he'd been out in the courtyard, and he came and jumped on my chest. But he always smells like sunshine to me, though. I think it's his spirit as well as his black fur just soaks it all up. Like, I don't know, but I could be just insane. I always thought my other cat smelled like dirt, like fresh soil. And he didn't smell like actual soil. I don't know.
Are you kind of saying that like sunshine just smells like heat?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
It's like eating a chip without salt. It's just eating heat.
Yeah, but it's sweeter than that. because it's not just it wasn't that he was literally hot. It's bizarre. This is so much fun trying to describe this. I think it would be easier if everybody listening to this came over to my house and just sniffed my cat.
I plan to do this. You do realise?
Open invitation.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to tell the listeners?
Buy my CD, That's for original. I don't know. Oh, you know what I wouldn't mind telling. My CD, when you do buy it, there's an animal sanctuary in the Yarra Valley that is very close to my heart, and they save all sorts of wonderful animals, and I call it the Furry Love Factory, and I donate proceeds from my album to this place.
Cool.
It's called Gunya Animal Healing Sanctuary, and it's the only place you can go and see a pig kiss an alpaca and a calf kiss a goat, and they're just all these crazy interspecies friendships. It's so cute. So that's what I'll add on to the end of that.
Well, I'm a massive animal lover. What was that place called again?
It's called Gunya, Gunyah Animal Healing Sanctuary.
I'll be definitely going there.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's not open to the public, but I can get you in there.
Oh, thank you.
I'll send you a link to their Facebook page, and you can watch all the stories happen of the all the animals that they save, and it makes your heart smile.
Yes, I'm sure it will. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Make sure, as you said, get a copy of Leanne's album, Choking on Halos. It contains the single Slingshot. And for the latest news and info, you can like her on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Leanne Kingwell. Once again, Leanne, it's been a pleasure, and good luck with the rest of the year.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye-bye.